Imagine hiking the Appalachian Trail, miles from civilization, when you hear a whisper in the trees, but no one's there. For generations, hikers have reported chilling, unexplained encounters in the Appalachians' most remote sections. What if those campfire stories are more than just tales, but warnings? Every step leaves a trace. The Appalachian Trail is a marvel of nature and human endurance. A 2,190-mile journey stretching from Georgia to Maine, winding through deep forests, over misty peaks, and across centuries of human history. Thousands of people set out on this path every year seeking something: peace, challenge, solitude, rebirth. But the trail offers more than what's advertised in guidebooks. For some, it offers mystery. For a few, it offers disappearance. To hike the Appalachian Trail is to engage with something ancient, not just in the trees or the geology, but in the atmosphere itself. Something weighty, heavy, like the trail is watching. This isn't just poetic imagery. Some believe the trail holds secrets, silent, unsettling evidence buried beneath its beauty. From missing persons cases to folklore backed by eerie forensic clues, the Appalachian Trail is more than a wilderness challenge. It's a living, breathing crime scene, a forensic archive carved into nature itself. Every footstep marks the earth, every misplaced item, every snapped branch, every unlit fire ring tells a story. And some of those stories are still waiting to be solved. Chapter 1. Shadows of the Past. Long before the first white blazes marked the path, the mountains held their own narratives. Civil War deserters, early settlers who vanished into the wilderness. Stories of murder, betrayal, and hauntings echo from the earliest days of recorded history in the Appalachians. One of the oldest stories is that of the specter of the Smoky Mountains. In various forms, it's been passed down for over a century. Some claim it's a ghost, others, a guardian. But the accounts share eerie similarities. Soft footsteps that follow hikers through heavy fog. Tents unzipped during the night. Strange breath on the back of the neck with no one there. In 1946, an early thru hiker named Harold Hal Mason reported what he called the quiet stalker. He wrote in his journal, later recovered by park rangers, about hearing a second set of footsteps matching his exactly, starting and stopping with his every move. He turned back multiple times, finding no one. But the footsteps never stopped. One entry reads, "It's walking with me," or watching me walk. Either way, it knows I'm here, and I think it wants me to know it too. That journal was found in a shelter. Hal Mason was not. Skeptics argue about wind, wildlife, or the paranoia of isolation. But that's the point. We don't know. And the trail doesn't give answers easily. Chapter 2. Legends with teeth cryptids are often dismissed as local folklore. But what if some of those creatures aren't just stories, but misidentified realities? Take the Beast of Benton Falls, a towering, dark figure seen by multiple hikers and campers in eastern Tennessee. It's often written off as a misidentified black bear, but eyewitnesses report long limbs, glowing eyes, and movements that don't match any known animal in the region. In 2003, a group of backpackers found deep scratches etched into a tree 10 feet high, higher than any known bear could reach. Or consider the wampus cat, long whispered about in North Carolina. Supposedly a six-legged feline-like creature, part myth, part nightmare. Stories vary wildly, but what remains are the physical findings: shredded tents, claw marks, and unidentifiable tracks in deep mud. No fur samples, no scat, just confusion. Researchers have speculated that such sightings could result from an overlap of environmental stress, lack of sleep, and common wildlife. Others suggest human pranksters or misidentified animals. But when people vanish, sometimes with signs of a struggle, torn clothing, or shredded gear, questions arise that natural explanations can't easily answer. Chapter 3. Cold Cases and Vanishing Points. The Appalachian Trail is beautiful. It is also remote, vast, and often merciless. Dozens of hikers have gone missing over the decades, some never to be seen again. One of the most well-documented cases is that of Geraldine Largay, who disappeared in 2013 while hiking in Maine. Despite search efforts, her body wasn't found until 2 years later, just a few miles off the trail. Her journal showed she survived for nearly 26 days after getting lost. Her case, tragic as it is, offers one explanation: disorientation, lack of signal, and human error. But not all disappearances end with such closure. Alyssa James, a 29-year-old from Virginia, disappeared in 2015 near Roan Mountain. Her last GPS ping showed her on a known section of trail. Her camp was found abandoned, perfectly intact. The oddest detail? Her phone, upright and dry, sat balanced on a moss-covered stump, screen still glowing. No signs of struggle, no footprints leading away, no weather event that night. Her disappearance remains unsolved. A pattern has emerged among some of these cold cases. All occurred near historically active areas, sites of previous disappearances or strange sightings. All involved solo hikers. All involved sudden silence in their last communications, cut off mid-text, mid-call, or mid-recording. Something interrupts them. Something we don't understand. Chapter 4. Whispers in the trees beyond physical traces. Hikers report sensations that are harder to prove, but just as chilling. A man hiking through the Bald Mountains in 2019 shared his story anonymously online. He was 3 days into a solo section when, one night, he woke to whispers. Soft, unintelligible, but persistent, circling his tent. He chalked it up to wind at first, but then, he said, the zipper of his tent began to slide down, slowly, silently. He held his breath, knife in hand, for what felt like hours. When morning came, the zipper was halfway down, and no one was around. Another hiker near Klingman's Dome reported seeing orbs of light moving through the trees, floating, almost intelligent. They weren't fireflies. They moved in straight lines, weaving between trunks, responding to his movement. His camera died before he could film. Are these hallucinations? Weather phenomena? The result of sensory deprivation and fatigue? Psychologists say yes. The brain, deprived of normal stimulation, begins to invent companions. It fills the silence with whispers, the darkness with figures. But when multiple people report the same things in the same areas, what then? Chapter 5. The Psychology of Fear. Isolation does strange things to the mind. Long-distance hikers often experience mild hallucinations, auditory, visual, even tactile. Some report a presence walking beside them. Others see faces in trees or hear voices whisper their names. This phenomenon is known as the third man factor. First documented in mountaineering circles, it describes the psychological tendency for people in extreme isolation or danger to perceive a comforting or ominous presence nearby. On the Appalachian Trail, this factor might explain many of the ghost stories and unexplained encounters. But there's another layer to consider. The trail itself fosters a heightened sense of awareness. Your senses are tuned to danger. You're always listening, always watching. That hypervigilance can be both a blessing and a curse. The brain, scanning for threats, begins to invent them. But if enough people experience the same hallucination, can it really be called imagined? Chapter 6. Forensic Trail Reading. In recent years, search and rescue teams have begun to apply forensic trail analysis to missing hiker cases. This includes microevidence, disturbed vegetation, misplaced rocks, scents tracked by dogs, even insect activity timelines. Nature is chaotic, but it leaves patterns. A bent blade of grass, a smudged footprint, a campsite abandoned without the typical signs of packing up. All of these can tell stories, if you know how to read them. One case in 2020 revealed a torn piece of fabric 14 feet off the ground in a tree. Weather couldn't explain it. No large animals had been seen in the area, but something powerful and vertical put it there. These moments are rare, but they remind us the trail records everything. It just doesn't explain it. Chapter 7. Patterns in the silence zoom out, and a pattern starts to emerge. Disappearance clusters. Consistent hotspots of high strangeness, repeating witness accounts across decades. Locations where compasses fail and electronics die. Places that seem to resist human presence. Geologists point to magnetic anomalies. Biologists point to unfamiliar animal behaviors. But those don't explain the sensations of being watched, followed, studied. The Appalachian Trail is old. Older than cities, older than names, older than memory. It has absorbed generations of footsteps, colonists, soldiers, wanderers, and seekers. Maybe it carries their echoes. Maybe it replays their endings. Or maybe it's something else entirely. Chapter 8. The Trail as a Living Archive. Every hiker who sets foot on the Appalachian Trail becomes part of its story. And not just in a metaphorical sense. Their boots leave marks. Their gear alters campsites. Their scent lingers in the soil. Their fear, perhaps it echoes. The trail is a living archive, a massive environmental database constantly being updated by every life that touches it. Imagine if we could read it like a book, trace the final moments of the vanished, understand the symbols left behind by the frightened, decode the silence. Maybe, one day, we will. Chapter 9. Beyond the Whispers. The trail isn't trying to scare you, but it is trying to tell you something. Look close enough, past the trees, past the fear, and you'll begin to see it. In the overlapping boot prints, in the shifting fog, in the way the air feels different in certain places, like it's holding its breath, waiting. Some hikers walk away from the trail with peace, clarity, even joy. Others walk away changed, or not at all. If you ever find yourself alone in the woods and you hear something call your name, don't answer. Not because it isn't real, but because it might be. Final words. What will you leave behind? So what about you? What will your journey leave behind? A footprint, a campsite, a story told in gear and gravel. Every time you step onto the Appalachian Trail, you are interacting with something alive, something ancient. You are being watched, not necessarily by eyes, but by memory itself. Ask yourself this. What hidden evidence might you discover on your next adventure? The ground beneath your feet holds more secrets than you know.